What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Uncle T Show. Welcome to Uncle T from the V, that is. I want to say thank you to all my viewers. Everybody that jump in, I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. We got an interesting episode today, y'all. We have a very interesting episode. And once you know, you can't act like you don't know. You hear me? Once you know, you can't act like you don't know. Once you see, you can't unsee. So we're going to get rid of the excuses. Today's episode is, how do I justify to my kids that I'm a poor excuse of a parent? How do I justify that I'm a poor excuse for a parent to my kids? All right? We're going to wait on a few people to jump in, and I'm going to get this boy started. What's up, Facebook? I see you. Give me a number 2 when you jump in here, if you will, in Facebook, and give me a number 1 when you jump in here, if you will, from YouTube. And I appreciate that. And we're going to get this boy started. I got some nice. This is going to be a nice one. Remember, once you see, you can't unsee. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. So we're going to get rid of the excuses. And I myself, I was one of those people that made excuses. So I ain't going to act like I didn't. I'm not acting like I didn't. It ain't no perfect me. Remember that. All right. Thank you. Hey, so today's episode, this is very interesting. It's a hell of an episode. But how do I justify to my kids that I'm a poor excuse of a parent? How do I justify that? Is there any justification at all for being a poor excuse of a parent? Can you hear that little voice? Mommy, Daddy, I thought you loved me. Can you hear it? I can hear it. Was I ever a poor excuse of a parent? That's my question. Was I ever a poor excuse of a parent? Did I try to justify it? Maybe I did. Maybe I did try to justify me being a poor excuse of a parent. But once I got in position, did I continue to try to justify it? Or did I just accept it? Did I just accept being a poor excuse, a nobody? Thank y'all. Thank everybody for jumping in. Did I try to justify it? Did I just say, you know what? I ain't shit. I'm not nothing to my kids. I'm not going to be nothing to my kids. And did I just settle with that and continue with the buffoonery? At one point, I did. And my excuse that I used to make for myself, and maybe it was the right excuse, but my excuse that I made for myself was, I didn't know who I was. I was too busy trying to live a life like the rappers, like Jay-Z. That was one of my favorite artists. I was too busy trying to live like Jay-Z. I didn't know who I was. I was too busy trying to get to the bag, to secure the bag. You know, a lot of people use that excuse. A lot of people use that excuse. I'm trying to get to the bag so I can secure a bag for my kids. Like, that's really a damn excuse for being a poor excuse of a parent. Is that an excuse? Are you trying to get to the bag because of things you want to do? I don't know. But how do I justify of being a poor excuse of a parent to my kids? How do I justify that? Is it any justification at all? You know, I want to say this real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm going to ask you, when you love someone, do you do better? So my question is, what is love? What is love? What is love? Because we claim we love our kids, right? You know, we say we love our kids, but do we raise our kids? Do we let the video games raise our kids just so they can be out of our face? Do we smoke weed in front of our kids? Do we drink in front of our kids? Do we call our kids names? You stupid MF. You dumb mother up. Do we do that? Do we find ourselves doing that? Do we ever find ourselves telling our young boys, you ain't gonna be shit just like your daddy? Or telling our little young ladies, you little heifer, fast at. Do we? I'm sure we do. I'm sure we do. So you have to first question yourself, what is love? Do you even love your kids? Because I've always heard a saying that if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? I've heard that saying growing up a lot, and there's some truth to it. There is some truth to it. If you love yourself, if you don't love yourself, pardon me, if you don't love yourself, how do you love someone else? Even your kids. Do you really love them? Are you really raising them? Some you love, like when you're in a relationship and you really like somebody. You can just really like somebody in a relationship and you're going to do everything possible to make yourself available for that person you love in a relationship. You're going to do everything to make yourself available for that person in that relationship. No sugarcoating it. We're going to be so real right now. We're going to be so real, y'all. And I know it don't sound, I know it's harsh. I know it may strike a nerve. I know it may strike a nerve to a lot of y'all. I know. But the question is it true? And once you see, you can't unsee the truth. Once you hear, you can't unhear the truth. So do you really love your kids? That's the first thing you want to ask. What is love, and do you really love them? Because if you love them, you'll do better by them. You'll put the work in, right? Okay. Now, we come with a lot of excuses, right? Am I right? We bring up a lot of excuses. And we know we do. We got excuses. I've always heard this saying too. I'm going to come with a lot of sayings on this. Excuses is like a butthole. Everybody got them. Excuses is like a butthole. Everybody got them. We love making excuses, don't we? We have a reason why we did this. We have a reason why we don't do this. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know Uncle T ain't lying. We make excuses for everything, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We make excuses for everything. There's an excuse. One of the biggest excuses is right here. This is one of the biggest excuses. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. And I don't see myself being a poor excuse. What you say, G? Having a child doesn't make you a parent. No, having a child does not make you a parent. Having a child does not make you a parent. It doesn't make you a parent. But that's one of our biggest excuses right there. That's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. Is that really an excuse? Can you really use that as an excuse? Because once you have a child and you know you have to do certain things to raise this child, then you start to educate yourself. Then you start to learn that parent's supposed to kick in when you love that child that you had, or that you have that child for your partner, or to keep your partner. Did you really want this child? Because if you did, you're going to be ready to let that parenthood kick in. It's an automatic thing. When I had my child, I used to say, yeah, I was young. I used that one too. I was young when I had it, all that. We're going to get to all them excuses. Just stay tuned. We're going to get to all of those excuses. But that's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. Did your instinct, did your gut, did your spirit ever say, wow, I need to change because I got a child now. I'm not no longer raising myself. I'm raising a child. So what do? That parent instinct kicks in. Then you start to read a little bit up on it. Then you start to place yourself around other parents that's doing a good job. You know, you say that's how you was raised, but it's other people that was raised in the ghetto as well. It's other people, other families that was raised in the ghetto as well. And they did a pretty good job, right? Right? They did a pretty good job, right? Yes, they did. Give me 1 second. They did a pretty good job, even though they was raised exactly where you were raised. They can make excuses as well, right? I know this one gonna hit home. I know it is, because ask yourself, how do you justify being a poor excuse of a parent to your kids? How do you justify that? How do you justify it? Once again, can you hear their voices? Mommy, Daddy, I thought you loved me. Mommy, Daddy, I thought you loved me. Because they going to grow up. They going to see the shithole job you did as a parent. They going to see it. And how do you justify it? That's my question. How do you justify it? So that's one excuse that we like to throw in there. That's how I was raised. But you got to look at other parents that grew up in the ghetto, grew up in the projects just like you. And some of them did a hell of a job raising their kids. Some of their kids, doctors, teachers, lawyers, actors. But were you willing to put the work in? See, that's the question. You wasn't willing to put the work in. You didn't even love yourself. You loved doing what you were doing. Let's be 100. You loved doing what you were doing, and you weren't willing to stop doing what you was doing. That's me. I was that person. I can't lie. I was that person. I loved doing what I was doing. I loved smoking weed. I loved hanging out. I loved doing all the stuff that I was doing. I loved chasing a bag because I liked it to flash. I liked the nice cars. It wasn't for my kids. It wasn't for my child that really suffered the most. And Daddy love you. And I show you extremely well how much I love you today. But yeah, when I was young, those excuses, I was young. I did a shitty job as a parent to my firstborn. And I know I did. I'm sure she forgives me now. And I try to do my best right now. I really do. I try to do my best right now. And I'm going to continue to do my best right now. I don't have excuses. I won't make excuses. I will not make excuses. Okay? That's just one excuse right there. Here go another one. I don't do it around them. I don't do it around them. Okay, you smoke weed, you drink, you say you don't do it around them, you have them to go in the room. Like they don't know these kids, like the kids don't know what weed smell like. They don't know when you done been drinking and now you're acting different. You think they don't know? Trust me, they feel the effect. They feel the effect from you drinking around them. They feel the effect from you smoking around them. Now you can't be too tentative towards them. Now you ain't paying attention to them because you so in your zone. You so lit right now. Yeah, you lit. So you can't pay attention. You ain't raising them now. You ain't paying attention to what they doing. You ain't paying attention to how many hours they been on that game. You ain't paying attention to they didn't do nothing that you said do. You just letting it go by. You ain't raising them. All because, what did it say right there? I don't do it around them. What you say, G? Out of sight is not out of mind. It should not be. It should not be that. It should not be that. But all too often, out of sight is out of mind. I agree with you 100,000%. But all too often, out of sight is out of mind. And can I say that was one of my excuses? Can I? I can say I used that before too. You know, I didn't really use it, but did that apply to me? Yes. Yes. But so let's not say I don't do it around them. You may not do it right in front of them, some of y'all. A lot of us do everything right in front of them. We do everything right in front of them. Yeah, we got work to do. We got work to do, y'all. We do it, yeah. We like to say, I don't do it around them. What's good, what's good, what's good, Elwood? I see you. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for tapping in, Elwood. Yeah, we like to say, I don't do it around them. Like they can't smell the weed. They can't smell the alcohol on your breath. Like you ain't acting different. Like they don't notice that, okay, do you ever notice that when you are high, when you are out of your mind, do you ever notice how your kids ask you for everything and they do everything because they know you ain't paying attention? Love, Elwood, I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate that. But they do everything when they know you high, when they know you drunk. They ask you for everything because they know you're going to do whatever you have to do to get them out your face. That ain't raising your kids. That's being a poor excuse of a parent. But now that you know better, you do better. Because you're learning right now. You can't unhear the truth. You can't unsee the truth. Let's do better. Let's come up. We got another. Let's throw another excuse up there. Let's throw another excuse, because that's what people like to say. That's one of them right there. I don't do it around them. Like they don't know. Like they don't know I can ask my dad or my mom for anything right now because I know they high, I know they drunk. They know. Let's bring up another excuse. Can we shoot another excuse up there for y'all? Because we make them, don't we? We have every excuse for being a poor excuse of a parent to our kids. Here go another one right here. Let's bring up this one. Let's bring up this one. Ooh. I was young when I had them. I was young when I had them. That was one of my excuses. That was one of my excuses. The dogs, the birds, they be young when they have their parents, their kids too, y'all. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that dogs, that we supposed to have way more sense than, we supposed to have way more sense than dogs and birds and animals and all that type of shit, right? But they were young too. They know to go get that food and bring it back to the nest and feed them birds. They know to stay right there in the nest. Them birds know to stay in the nest until them birds get up out the nest. And when it's time for them to get out the nest, they know to push them out the nest. So we can't use that excuse when we were young, because I had that excuse. But guess what? Guess what happens? You have some cultures where these kids have babies at 12 years old. And this is just a natural thing. They have babies at 12 years old. And guess what kicks in? That parenting instinct. That parenting instinct kick in. And you know. Some things you know. Some things is in you. That's the thing. Some things is in us. And we just know. What you say, G? I know they gonna get mad. I know they gonna get mad. They gonna get up off of here. They ain't gonna want to listen to this, because that was me too. That was me. I was that poor excuse of a parent. I was. But boy, do I see a difference right now. Boy, do I see a difference right now. And it's like everything is already in me. So when you were young, everything was already in you. Think about when you were 3 and you got that Barbie doll that you wanted. Don't that parenting instinct kick in? That parenting instinct kick in when you get that Barbie doll as a little baby girl. You won't be number 3 years old, but you know how to feed it. You know how to change the diaper on it, and you learn. But the problem is, I got to call it like it damn is. The problem is you don't want to let go of the things you like. You don't want to let go of smoking. You don't want to let go of drinking. You don't want to let go of partying. You don't want to let go of thoughting. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem, y'all. Just admit it. Once again, how do you justify being a poor excuse of a parent to your kids? Can you hear their voice? Can you hear their voice? I thought you loved me, mommy. I thought you loved me, daddy. Do you even think about that voice? I don't know. I don't know. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about, y'all. It's something to think about. These kids need us. They need us. They need us now more than ever. I'm going to tell you why. Because they got the internet hitting them strong, hitting them hard. Pay attention to your kids. Do they know how to socialize with people outside of the internet? Do they know how to socialize? Do they even know how to hold a very decent conversation with you? Are they answering you with one-word answers? Let's stop using these excuses. I was young when I had them. These animals be young and they have kids and they automatically know because that parent instinct kick in. You just don't want to let go of the things you like. I don't do it around them. They feel that shit. They know when you drunk. They know when you zooted, when you out of your mind. They know. That's when they come and ask you for the things that they want, because they know they gonna get it. Right, that's right. With no excuses. We ain't gonna make no excuses. Excuses is dead. Excuses is dead. And here go the other one. That's how I was raised. Take a look in your environment. Take a look in your environment right now. And I guarantee you see somebody that's in that same environment and they raising hell of a kids. You know it. You see it. You know it. You see it. Pay attention to them. Go put yourself around them. Go ask them questions. You feel me? Go ask them questions. Let's stop making these excuses. I just want to say this before I get out of here. Please do me a favor. Look your kids in the face and ask yourself, how do I justify being a poor excuse of a parent to my kids? And try for a minute to hear that voice. I thought you loved me, mommy. I thought you loved me, daddy. Because they're going to ask that question when they get older. And you're going to have to answer to that question. There's no justification. There's no justification for being a poor excuse of a parent. They need us, y'all, more than ever today. Let's step up to the plate. Let's put the work in. Let's put the work in. If you don't want them, give them away. If you know you ain't going to raise them right and give them a chance at life, if you ain't going to raise them right and give them a fair chance, a fair shot at life, give them away. Give them away. Give them to somebody. Go drop them off. You ain't going to go to jail. Trust me, most people will look at you as that was an admirable thing that they did. That was so admirable of them. That was responsible, because maybe they'll be placed in a family where they're going to at least get a shot. They're going to at least get a shot at life. Remember, hear that voice. I thought you loved me, mommy. I thought you loved me, daddy. Ain't no justification for being a poor excuse of a parent. There's none. There's none. We claim we have dominion over the animals, over the dogs, over the birds. But even they know. Even they know. Let somebody try to mess with a bird egg or a baby puppy or any animal. Let somebody try to mess with their egg or their youngin'. They ain't gonna have it. They ain't having it. But we allow our kids to be shot, to be abused, by pedos, petties, whatever you want to call them. We allow that. Be abused by our family members as kids, sexually abused. We lie for our family members. Let the police beat them up. Let them go out there and sell drugs, and as long as they bringing some of the money home, helping you with the bills. It'll be better off if you gave those kids away. That's more responsible. At least they may get a shot. Remember what I'm saying, y'all. Please remember what I'm saying. Hear their voice. Hear their voice. I thought you loved me, mommy. I thought you loved me, daddy. Ain't no justification for being a poor excuse of a parent to your kids. There's just no justification. Let's get off our ass. Let's push ourselves. Let's learn. Let's educate ourselves. It ain't too late. Just because you was a poor excuse yesterday don't mean you got to be a poor excuse today or tomorrow. No, you don't. You don't. You are not who you were yesterday. Remember that. You are not who you were yesterday. Today you can do better. You can do better today. You can do better tomorrow. You can't be judged on who you was or you messed up yesterday. You messed up yesterday. Okay, I'm doing better today. Remember that. Let's raise our kids. Let's stop letting the video game, let's stop letting social media raise our kids. Trust me, it's going to get a lot worse before it get better, y'all. Let's stop lying like we trying to get to the bag for our kids. When every time you get to the bag, every dime you bring home, you're going to get lashes, or you're going to buy some new chain, or some new rings or watch. You trying to keep up with the Joneses. You ain't trying to get to the bag for your kids. Learn about insurance. Learn about insurance. Learn about stocks. Are you getting to the bag and putting your money, putting them away a Roth IRA, a CD fund, a trust fund? Are you doing that? If you're not doing that, stop lying. And even if you're doing that, you're still sacrificing. If you're chasing it so hard, you're still sacrificing not putting the time in to raise your kids. You're still sacrificing. What you say? What you say, G? Excuses change nothing. Accountability changes everything. Speak, speak, speak. Speak, speak, speak. Edward say there are no excuses. Speak. Excuses changes nothing. Accountability changes everything. And that's what we don't like to do. Sometimes you may not have no one to hold you accountable. Sometimes you got to step back, kick yourself in the ass, and hold yourself accountable. Because accountability does change everything. Anyway, y'all, I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for watching the show, Ask Uncle T. Shoot me, it's an email in the description. Shoot me some topics that y'all would like to talk about. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay? I'm open. But it's no justification for being a poor excuse of a parent to your kids. Hear their voices, y'all. I thought you loved me, mommy. I thought you loved me, daddy. I'm out. Thank y'all again.